Hello, beautiful people. How are you all doing today? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was doing my hair. It needed it. It was like that. It was like very bouffant, very, very bouffant. Very busy afternoon as well. Right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let me turn my phone on to silent. I actually did have it on silent, and then I turned it off silent, as you do, because I was waiting for a phone call. So, I didn't see that headline earlier. So I've got some interesting things to discuss today, some interesting topics. Some of them you may have seen, some of them you may not have seen. You know me, I like to pick out the weird ones. Let's have a look who is in the chat. Let me change that over to live chat instead of top chat. Can everybody hear and see me okay? I'm guessing you can because I see hires from everybody. Oh, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. So Elle got here first today. Thank you, Elle. Well done. She got here first. So she is in the leaderboard at the moment for the Unicorn Prize. I don't know what it will be yet. I haven't decided yet, but she's in the leaderboard. So she's in the leaderboard with two. She's got two that she's got here first. So she gets a big shiny star. There you go. Big shiny star. Billy has got one and Pete has got one as well. It's just, a daft thing that we're doing. So basically, whoever gets first, comments first, gets a unicorn star. I'll have to make a unicorn star, won't I, when I've got time. So let's see who's here. So we've got the beautiful Elle. Thank you for joining us. And Billy, hello, Billy. Bugger, yes, you missed it. Sorry, you're going to have to jump on really quickly now that I've got this competition thing going. Yeah, Elle got here 5.5 hours ago when I was chatting in the chat on Reagan Elite's show, which he did mention my show today. So thank you very, very much to Reagan Elite. Lovely of you to mention me. If Chris, my producer, could pop up a link to Reagan Elite's show, that would be awesome. I don't think he said he's going live tonight, but he will be live tomorrow morning with his Good Morning show, which is at 11. Brilliant show. He wasn't there last week. He was on holiday, and I missed that show so much. I really, really did. I think it's such a gentle, peaceful show, and he was showing all the little plushies that he has as well. The plushies, those plushies. So yeah. Let's have a look. Billy, LL. Hi, Pete. How are you doing? We missed you this morning. Everybody was wondering if you were okay. How are you doing now after the scare you had at the hospital? Hope you're doing okay. Hope all is okay. Yeah, we were worried this morning. And because we know you have dialysis on a Thursday. Just wondering, do you have dialysis on any other day? But yeah, we just wanted to make sure that you're okay. Oh, spag bol. Who's having spag bol? Sounds good. Inadvertent dandruff in the spag bol. Sounds good. Sounds very tasty and yummy. Nothing wrong with a bit of skin, dead skin. Spaghetti alla Billy. What I like about Italian cuisine is you can pretty accurately make anything as at home with basic set of ingredients. You can, Pete. However, if you do eat in Italy, the food is very different to how we cook it here. Just saying. I'm sure Max will be able to tell you more about that. Maximilian Robespierre, another one of the content creators that we follow. If you would like to follow his channel, I'm pretty sure that Chris will pop a link for his channel in the chat so that you can go over and check out his channel. Does he go live tonight? I think he does go live stream on a Tuesday night, Tuesday and Friday, I think, isn't it? You going over to the bin, Billy? Well done. I thought they started at 6. That's why I started now. But yeah, I will bump you all over if I can figure it out how to do it to the bin podcast after we've done here. Italian's my favorite, says Elle. It's my favorite too. It is my absolute favorite. John, hi John, lovely to see you. I can get the leaderboard just by saying hello. You can, John, but you have to be first. So you have to, because Elle is very quick on the buzzer, so is Billy. So as soon as I put up the thumbnail, the notification for going live, you have to be the first one to say hello. So before you even get the notification that I'm going live, so you'll have to watch for that popping up. So you would need to subscribe and hit on notification bell, and it will tell you when I've got something ready to go up. But basically what we're doing, it's just a daft little competition. I don't know when it'll end. It may never end. But basically I've added my little rainbow unicorn, which we are still thinking of a name for. So far we have the names of Thelonious Stomp, Ursula, Cornelius, and Sparkle Farts, which, to be honest, is sort of getting my vote at the moment. I think that was Alexis, wasn't it, that put that one in. So if you want to email me some names, you can send it to me at thewitchergoth@gmail.com, and I will get round to reading all of the emails as soon as I can. I was going to do it today. Alas, I had some bills to pay and some people to ring, so my afternoon was taken up with boring, annoying stuff. So yes, John, you can get onto the leaderboard. Probably when this ends, I will, send something out to the person who has got the most votes. Obviously, I'm not going to ask for your addresses on here. It will be via email. Hi, Sarah Davies. Lovely to see you. Hi, Chris. Thank you for being here, my wonderful producer. Chris, actually, he's brilliant, because what he does is he will go and grab the latest news and just like give me a bump and remind me that this is going on. Although I do have some interesting topics of conversation today. So some of it's been in the news, some of it hasn't, but it's all very up to date, except for one story, which is over 4,000 years old. So Sarah Davis is with us. Hi, Jim. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Great to have you here. Breaking news. See, Chris is already on the ball. I haven't even got through the hellos yet. Government to release Andrew trade envoy documents amid fierce criticism of former Prince in MP's debate. Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Hi, Stephen. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. I see you left a message up there and I skipped it. I am so sorry. Oh, Draka. I see Draka's name mentioned as well. And I have missed that. You know what happens? When I scroll down, it does this jumpy thing. Regan Elite not live tonight. No, I didn't think he was. So Draka is there. Hi, Draka. Thank you for joining us. Hello from MK, the most roundabouted town in the UK with cows. You've got painted cows, I think, haven't you? Which is weird. Don't know what they do. Maybe they all come alive at night. I don't know. Let's see who else we've got. Unicorn McUnicorn face. I'll add it because I will do a poll, and we will add the names to the poll. That's not that one. Unicorn McUnicorn face. Because, Boaty McBoatface should have won. That really was a brilliant name. Routine med appointment to get some wound dressed. Oh, goodness, yeah, from dialysis itch. Yeah, I know. It's something that the kidneys do, isn't it? They're not filtering certain things within the body when you've got kidney disease, and it tries to release through the skin, causing awful itchiness. Elle will be back in about 30 minutes. Okay, Elle, permission slip granted. No, don't stop. Don't switch off because you take ages to wake up. Hi, Alex. Lovely to see you. I'm at a place called Vertigo. Okay. And have some good news. My latest blood tests have shown my iron levels are within normal limits. So the GP has said I can stop taking the iron tablets. Fantastic. Fantastic news. Fantastic news. They were brutal. Certainly didn't miss him. Miss who? What have I missed? Am I missing something? Hi, Val. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. I do apologise for anybody's names I miss. I am not being rude. I just can't see properly because I have to have the thing at a certain distance away. Otherwise, you can see all the wrinkles and I look dreadful. So, yes, I shall... who's Wake Up? Who's Wake Up? Have I missed another person? Hello, Wake Up. I'm not sure. I don't see a comment. So oh, yes, there we go. Rosemary's. Hi, Rosemary's. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Gonna have a sip of water. So I had a thing last week with my mobile phone. My contract was up. Now, I don't buy phones through the mobile phone companies. I can't afford to. Really can't afford to. So anyway, the one that I'm with I decided to go with them because they sent me free earbuds. Free earbuds. So I'm going to try and get them linked to my phone so that when I do live streams with Regan Elite and other people who would like to do live streams with me, you won't get the horrible sound in the background like you did last time, which was horrible. And I'm sorry. And I had to keep putting myself on mute because it was really annoying. Unfortunately, I, just don't have the technology, which brings me to the next point that if you would like to support the channel, you can go over to my Buy Me a Coffee page, which I will link now in the chat. Just bear with me, guys, and support me by buying me a coffee. No, that's the wrong one. That's not that one. It's that one. Sorry. I'm really not very good with technology, as you will all know by now that I'm pretty shit at it, to be honest. Let's pop it into the chat. So if you would like to, you can support the channel by buying me a coffee. But the biggest support comes with you liking the video, the live stream, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your mates on your social medias and so on. Say hello to Sparkle Thoughts. I did, Alex. I actually did. Got quite a few. Yeah, actually, that's the first article I'm going to read, Chris. That is the first article I am going to read because it came up on my feed and I'm like, how dare he? How dare he? So yes, that is something that I'm going to be reading first. So he has said today that the UK is suffering from having a totally unregulated sexual economy and that marriage traditionally was seen as a way to regulate it. Yes, well, the patriarchy. First, I'm going to start with an article about our favourite person, Froggage, and then I'm going to go on to the Danny Kruger one. So yeah, that's definitely something that is us. When I was searching for the Farage article, which I wanted to read, I saw that one. I'm like, fuck's sake, what has he done now? Yeah, he's not my favorite person. As you know, I detest misogyny. I am a feminist. But being a feminist doesn't mean that I'm a misandrist, because I do not hate men. I think men are wonderful. I really do. I love men. I have dated many, many men. I've been married. There are just some men that are not worthy of the name men and should be rather called animals or beasts, or just, yeah, throw them in the bin. But yeah, I don't hate men at all. I think men are wonderful, but not all men. Rosemary's back at work, apart from being tired. Yeah, I was tired today as well. I was really tired today as well, beating you to the punchline again, Chris. Maybe we should have a chat before I go live and say, right, these are the things that I'm talking about today. That's insulting to animals and beasts. Yes, it is. What can we call them? Scum? You know, like the scum you get on the top of a pond, that scum that you have to clean off. I love men too, but don't want a partner, thanks. The underbelly witch, the underbelly witchy. you know, I don't want a partner as in somebody who lives with me. I like living on my own. I like my own space and my own time, and I like doing my own thing. But it would be nice to have a partner who I would see every now and again, and, you know, we could, you know, hook up and then just, you know, be ourselves for a while. They don't even have to speak to me every day either. You know, I would be quite happy just to message every now and again. Time is a big factor in my life, is that I have so much going on, and time is, you know, short. Time is fleeting. Madness takes its toll. Farages, yes. Tool, what fucking tool? Scum? Yeah, I like scum. I do like scum because it's the stuff that's on top of a pond. Anyway, let's call him a dickhead. Let's just call him a dickhead, what he is. When I hear the word scum, I always think of the film Scum. That is one hell of an opener to the old Borstal system. I don't know if I've seen that, Chrissy. I do think I have, because it does bring me a name. It does bring me a name. It rings a bell. Rings a bell. So yeah, and the Borstal system was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Wake up and smell the rosemary, says, me too witchy, like my freedom and autonomy too much. Absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing. You know, if partners could live next door to each other. Although, to be honest, I'm happy with somebody living in a town away from me, or if it not too far, far enough that we could meet up, you know, for dinner, maybe in a hotel, and, you know, that to me would be perfect. But I don't want to be back to that place where I have to walk on eggshells every day because that person wants to do things that I don't want to do, or I may upset them with something that I say, or not make their coffee correctly, or, you know, just talk. Jim says it's a brilliant film. You will know if you have seen it, which he greenhouse scene. I don't remember it. So yeah, ring a bell when you get the sock scum reference. Yeah, I think I know what you mean there. I think I know what you mean. So scum being less the S, I would imagine. So, right, first article I'm going to read today. Oh, before I go on, sorry, I did meant to say, thank you to my lovely chat here, all the people in the chat. If you would like to join chat, you are more than welcome to. You will need to subscribe to the channel, wait a minute, and then you will be able to talk in chat. But please keep the chat nice and friendly and polite with each other. We are all friends here, and we help each other through loads of different things, and we keep each other sane, or, you know, as close to sanity as we can. I saw Scum on TV with friends, one of whom had been to Borstal. He thought it was a bit mild. Ooh, that's not good. Hi, Liz. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. In prison, they tend to use canned tuna in a sock these days. Oh, right. Okay. Now I know what you mean about. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't it in McVicker, that film that had, what was his name? Roger Daltrey in. Didn't he have a pool ball in a sock? I know I've seen that in a couple of movies, pool ball in a sock. So, yeah. Right. So, the first article is about Froggage. I'm sorry. I know we hate him, but at least you don't get to see his face, because I don't have the technology or know-how to put the article up on the screen. So you don't have to look at his face. You get to hear me yakking. Right. So this is from The Guardian. It is from the 21st. So it's 3 days ago now. It's by Alexandra Topping. Does Nigel Farage have a problem with women? I'd say he does. So some of you may have seen this, and it really got my back up. It really, really got my back up. I was going to talk about this last night, but there was just no time. We were talking about Giselle Pellico last night, and all the horrible disgusting things that happened to her. And it just, yeah. So when Nigel Farage told a journalist this week, that's last week, write some silly story and we won't bother to read it, it provoked an instant and divided reaction. For some, it was a masterclass in dealing with mainstream media, but for others, it was rude, dismissive, misogynistic and arrogant. It was misogynistic. It was condescending. It was patriarchal. It was just ridiculous. He didn't even answer the question. He skipped over it, and he basically did what Trump does. If Trump doesn't want to speak to a reporter, he tells them they're stupid or they're nasty or they say horrible things. And that comment to a woman, I don't think he would have done that if it was a man. I don't think he would have done it if it was a man. Because it was a woman, I was so furious. The audience laughed. The audience thought it was funny. And I'm guessing that most of the audience was deformed voters. Oh, Reagan, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Lovely. Oh, and thank you. You've sent me a coffee. Oh, mwah, mwah, mwah. Much love to you. That is awesome. Thank you, Reagan Elite. I really do appreciate that, because this month's getting very tight, getting very, very tight. Anyway, so he reacted to the reporter just the way Trump does. And it is so, it's just misogynistic. And I know that he is a misogynist. I see traits in him. For example, him and Tice refused to condemn, I can't remember his name now. I'm sure Chris, my producer, will let me know. The name of the guy that was booted out of the party because he beat up his girlfriend or kicked his girlfriend and was, thingamabobbed for it. I don't know if he was jailed, but he was in court for it. Was it Rupert Lowe? Thanks, Chris. I knew one of you would know the name. So was it Rupert Lowe? So he's now in charge of the other stupid party, Restore. So we've got Reform UK, Restore UK, and Reignite UK. What's the Lawrence Fox party? I can't remember now. Hi, blah, blah. Did I say hello to you? I'm not sure. I don't think I did. I think I skipped you. I'm very sorry. I did send you an email yesterday. Finally got round to sending you an email. I hope you got it. So, yeah. What's wrong with Chris? What's going on with Chris? Or he calls them piggy. Oh, Trump. Yeah. Trump is just, yeah. Behind the scenes, Farage's treatment of the Financial Times' Anna Gross, which was met with mirth and applause among Reform diehards in the room, provoked disquiet and anger among lobby journalists across the political spectrum. As the Reform UK leader was leaving the event, a Guardian political reporter suggested he had been rude and had upset the journalist. Good, Farage responded. That's to Farage. Fuck you. It is not the first time he's been accused of patronising a female journalist. When the former BBC Radio 4 Today presenter Michelle Hussein asked him about the potential consequences of shooting down Russian planes last October, he responded with, "Listen, love, you're trying ever so hard." He wouldn't say that to a man. He wouldn't turn around and say that to a man. That is misogyny. It's patronizing. It's condescending. It is to a woman that is making her worth less than him and other men. It's sort of saying, I'll only listen to other men. A month later, he accused the Telegraph's Camilla Tominey of playing a silly little game when she asked who his chancellor would be. He just can't help himself, can he? I hope that the women who are saying they're going to vote for him realize what he's saying. And it's up to us to speak to our friends, our neighbors, family members all around us, and educate them about this bollocks, because it will only, if they do win, it will only get worse. And the article I'm going to read about Danny Kruger in a minute just goes to show the horrendous misogyny that lies within the Reform Party. And I was angry, just so you all know, when Keir Starmer berated that other female MP, and I cannot remember, I think it was a Green Party MP, I'm not 100% sure. I was furious about that, absolutely furious about that, because Labour are supposed to be the party who abhor misogyny and who are trying to look after and protect women and girls. So I was glad when he apologised, but it should never have left his mouth in the first place. He was opening a doorway to allow people like Froggage and Fuckhead, to say these things, and they should not be uttered at all in Parliament. And any leader of any party should not be allowed to say this, but we know that they want to get rid of the Equalities Act, the ECHR, which I've also got prepared, but I might not get to it this evening because it's 5:30 already. So, and I was a bit late, so I do apologise for that. Amid a busy news cycle, his most recent condescension could have been easily forgotten. But in a week where Froggage hired a hardline anti-abortion theologian as his head of policy and promised to repeal the Equality Act on his party's first day in government, it has sparked the question, does Reform UK and its leader in particular have a woman problem? Yeah. Let's put this up. Let's put this up for a poll. Okay, there we go. There's a poll for you. You can have a look. Is Farage and the Reform Party misogynistic? I'm pretty sure that you're all going to say yes anyway, but there might be one or two that say no. Now, as for Poucan, that's in the party, she probably has patriarchal learning within her, so that it's been ingrained into her from being a child, that she may believe that men are more powerful than women. And I believe that she may well be staying in the party to stay in government and stay relevant. Jane Martinson, the former chair of Women in Journalism, said the run-ins with female journalists were a clear example of Trump's influence. Froggage is really offering a sort of Trump light for the British people. Is it Trump light? Will it become hardcore Trump if he does win? I would imagine he would become hardcore Trump. Patronising a respected journalist and newspaper because he disagrees with its scrutiny, she said. This is all about ignoring the public's right to know and trying to control your own message by turning on the messenger, especially if they're just a silly woman. Reproductive rights and equality campaigners reacted in horror after Froggage hired James Orr, a right-wing theologian who opposes abortion even in cases of rape, incest, or serious risk to health, to replace Zia Youssef as his head of policy. The Cambridge University professor who heads the Centre for a Better Britain think tank is an influential figure in Trump's administration and is admired by the Vice President, J.D. Vance, who once described him as his British Sherpa. Kerry Abel, of the chair of abortion rights, said it was an alarming moment for Britain and accused Froggage of borrowing tactics from America's culture wars, especially in relation to anti-abortion ideology. The hire came a little over a week after Matt Goodwin, Reform UK's candidate in G&D by-election, was accused of wanting a Handmaid's Tale future. And he may have been accused of it, but when you read and see his past videos and statements, which I did do in last week's Misogyny Monday show, and on Tuesday, actually, because I didn't manage to get through the whole video, he is quite obviously a misogynist. And yeah, wants a Handmaid's Tale future, as does Danny Kruger, that I'm going to read about now. So, unearthed YouTube footage revealed he had called for young girls and women to be given a biological reality check. That's Matt Goodwin. For Hee Jung Chung, the director of the King's Global Institute for Women's Leadership, Farage's rhetoric around the treatment of women is part of a worrying trend that delegitimizes discussion of gender inequality and women's rights in a way that was unthinkable even 5 years ago. And if this disgusting party get into power, believe me, they will remove the woman's right to vote. They will. I have no doubt in my mind that they will remove women's right to vote, that they will deem abortion illegal, that they will force women into lower paid work and to become baby making machines. And it wouldn't surprise me if further down the line they force marriage. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It feels like a consistent and deliberate tactic, she said. I don't think it's that he's an old-fashioned guy with questionable views. He wants to distract people into thinking their problems are because of women. Well, that is misogyny. That is misogyny. Or equality and diversity policies or immigrants. Like Trump in America, it shifts the discourse, and that is very dangerous. But misogynists do blame women for their problems. As you can see in the alpha male culture, I will get around to recording some videos, but you know, if you have a look at some of the videos that the alpha males put out there and blame women for them being single, they don't want to fix themselves to be amenable to women. No, they're just blaming women, that women should just accept them for what they are. There are signs that Labour and others on the left are willing to meet Farage on his battlefield. On Thursday, Starmer said plans to repeal the Equality Act, which gives women extra protection in the workplace, were shocking and un-British, arguing that reform wanted to send women back to the old days. There was a caller that came on Nick Ferrari's show, and I think I did play it also in last week's live stream, that said that pregnant women should be fired from work, that they shouldn't work. Stella Creasy, the Labour MP for Walthamstow, described the attack on the 2010 legislation as calculating playbook rage bait politics and bad economic policy. And the thing is, what we need to remember, and I'm not saying this is all older people, this is, you know, some in my generation, Gen Xers, feel the same, is that women have been brainwashed into believing they are at fault for grape. If they're raped, they believe that they're at fault through tropes such as, what was she wearing? Why did she wear that short skirt? Was she drunk? She was asking for it. Those phrases are misogynistic. And yet we find some women repeating it because they've been taught that. They've been taught that women shouldn't dress in short skirts or shorts and fishnet stockings. And, you know, you're asking for it if you dress like that. It's disgusting, because the patriarchy has told us that that's what you have to say in order to be a real woman. The Equality Act gives the labour market more talent, which is good for productivity and good for growth, she said. What this is about saying is, here's somebody to blame for why the world isn't fair. It is not saying, how do we fix it? And that, again, is very important, because so many men will say, well, women shouldn't have the rights that they have. That's why the world's a mess. We're not even in charge. We're not even in charge. We haven't messed up the world. Male species has messed up the world. I can see so far we've got 100% on the poll, so I'm guessing that most of you do agree with me. Thank goodness. Paul Nowak, the General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, called for a united front against nasty thread of misogyny running through Reform UK. Farage was also a political risk, he said, noting that Reform have already got a problem with women voters. Okay, it's not got much more to read. While it is true that Reform voters have skewed heavily male, there has been a shift. In the last election, 61% of voters who voted Reform were men. But on voting intention in 2026, that figure has dropped to 55%, according to polling for More in Common. And if I would love to know if there is a poll out there that we can see the statistics and see the age of women that say they will vote, because I can guarantee you they will be of boomer age and above, and not all boomers, because I know there are a lot of you that I call early Gen Xers. So you've got my support. You know who you are in the chat. You know who you are. I don't have a sign that says not all boomers, but you know that is what I mean. You know that. Any man that is on women's side is a friend, is somebody who cares about women, cares about women's futures, and they're not a misogynist. Lou Trill, More in Common executive director, said there was a reform seesaw among women who expressed support for the party, with those in focus groups voicing concerns about the risk of backing Farage, while also showing interest in the radical change they thought his party could bring. Radical change, yeah, getting rid of your workers' rights, making the poor poorer, the rich richer, and just basically fucking up the country even more. Farage should be wary of comparisons to the US president, with polling showing that 25% of women considered Farage's support for Trump as the top reason not to vote Reform, compared with 21% of men. So that's actually quite good, but we need to get that 25% up to at least 50, and we need to get that 21% of men up to at least 40. Farage may also want to consider how he treats journalists at future press conferences. Rudeness is a sort of thing that people do notice, Trill said. I mean, this is a country of politeness, you know, used to be a country of politeness. It's a sort of thing which, if it becomes a pattern, could go down badly. If you think about the seesaw, it's all weighing down the side which says this is too much of a risk. As for comment, a Reform spokesman said, Nigel Farage treats all journalists equally. Scrutiny is a two-way street. So he's lying. He's lying. Right, I'm coming to the comments because I see we've had quite a few comments. So I apologise if I don't get to all of them, guys. Chris has said he will look into that for me. Thank you. My producer is going to look into the statistics for me. And if he can find something. So, you know, Chris, I absolutely love you. I do. I love each and every one of you. But just the help that you give me, because I've sat here for 2 hours this afternoon getting stuff up, and then that Danny Kruger thing popped up, and it's like, okay, I have to, you know, include that in today, because I was going to talk about other things, but that's just going to have to be for another day. Latest polling figures. White only, 19% of women polled say they will vote for Reform. 40% of women aged over 65 said they would vote for Reform. Yeah. So unfortunately, there's still 60% who would vote for Reform. Or does that figure, that 90% to 40%, does that include the don't knows in the middle? Over 65. Yeah. Yeah, over 65. Because unfortunately, they have, you know, been brainwashed from being children by the silent generation into believing that women are responsible for men raping them as much as men are. In fact, most of them don't even blame men. Most of them blame themselves. And many women who are raped blame themselves. Liz, I'm a ground floor Gen Xer in her I told you so phase, sadly. Ground floor being, I'm 69. I was born 69. So I think it was 64, wasn't it, that Gen X started. But I do know that there are people who are, you know, sort of late boomers who sort of err more on the side of Gen X. I mean, when I look at people like, that other fuckhead, what's his name? Johnny Rotten, John Lydon. What happened to him? Selling butter. Selling butter. You know, it's a person that was completely against the patriarchy, against the monarchy, against all of that stuff. and has now proved who he really is. 1966. Okay, so you and me both in those early days of Gen Xers. Hi, Indie Doc Mel. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. It's great to have you here. Rosemary says, I'm 60 and would rather die than vote reform. Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with me. With you. If that's all the choice I had, scribble. Or I'd draw a cock and balls, to be honest. Oh, you were in the Ukraine demo. Fantastic, Indy. How did it go? Let us know. That's amazing. That's wonderful. David Jacobson says, Ed Miliband once wore the following T-shirt together with some other male MPs. This is what a feminist looks like. It is. It is. It certainly is. I mean, there are the extreme feminists who, you know, won't go near men. That's their choice. I would put myself on the edge of extreme, but I do love men. I'm attracted to men, you know, and if, like I said earlier on, if I met somebody who had the same thoughts as me and weren't misogynistic, I would definitely want to have some sort of relationship from a distance. In fact, my ex, and this was a couple of weeks before he left, he said something to me one day, and I cannot remember what he said to me, but he was sat in front of the TV and I was walking from upstairs across the front of him. And he said something and I said, that's misogynistic. And he never apologized, but he shut up because he realized that what he said was misogynistic. The worrying thing is that a lot of deformed female members really buy into this as well. And there's a nasty trend of the defectives that defected to deform are anti-abortion. Absolutely. Hello, Sir Larry the Cat. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it is. Again, it's that sort of ingrained patriarchal misogyny that a lot of women still believe. But I do think that the younger generations and more Gen Xers than we would think actually completely disagree with that. I mean, I knew when I was young, when I was about 14, what misogyny was. I knew what being sexualized was at the age of 8, as many women do. Women aged 50 to 64, roughly 28%, 44 said they would vote reform, 18 to 49, 14% to 17%. Okay. So we just have to change their minds. We have to go out there and educate them that this is what would happen. They fought for the rights that we have. Those women in that generation, in the baby boomer generation, fought for those rights in the 60s and 70s so that we would have a job, so that we could have abortions, so that all of those things that they have now, a bank account, a house if they're single, and so on, they fought for it, but they don't want the younger people to have the same thing. It's almost as if, well, I had it tough, so you can have it tough as well. It's a very narrow view. And people say it comes with age. However, when you look at Generation X, the majority of Generation Xers, I would say, are probably more left-leaning than right-leaning. And possibly for the same reason as me, I can't afford a house, can't afford to buy a house. You know, I've seen the country going down the shitter, and it's shit. It's a shitty shitter. So I'm sorry if I don't get to all of the comments, guys. As I said, there are lots of you here tonight. So if I have not said hello to you, I do apologize. Jim says that's a nonsense, Witchy. Some sick men out there that can't communicate, I guess. Sickos. Yeah, they are. They are. And I'm of an age now where I don't really get bothered by men. But 10 years ago, I would have men coming up to me and, you know, talking shit. I mean, I dress like a goth. So, you know, it does put a lot of men off, to be fair, which doesn't bother me in the slightest. Because generally the men that are being put off by this look are men that I wouldn't want to interact with anyway. Farage has stated that men are often more prepared to sacrifice family lives for careers than women, leading to a natural gender divide in top roles, though he maintains he is pro-women. That's bollocks. That is absolute bollocks. Men, I'm sorry to say this, not all men, don't want to be involved in the family life. They want the women to do all the dirty work. They go to work, enjoy their time at work, check out all the girlies and go out with their mates from work for a drink after work, get home, and the missus does everything and looks after the kids and they do nothing. And again, I'm not saying that that is all men. I do think that things are changing in that place. But we know as well that the vast majority of millennials and Gen Zers and Gen Alphas can't afford homes, can't afford to have children, and two people working. It's a very, very sad situation that we are in, that the youth don't necessarily want to vote for their rights, at all. They sort of go, oh, I'm not interested in politics. But they fought for it for them and them alone. Yeah, they did, Chrissy. They did. Yeah, that's it. That's it. They're not bothered about what other people want. It's a selfish behavior. It's a selfishness. And I do think, and I'm, just speculating here, I would need to do some research and study on this, that it's possibly because of the silent generation before them having had nothing. I know my granddad was a hoarder. After he passed away, his attic was filled with cupboards full of trousers, like in their wrapping, hung up in their wrapping that he never wore. Shoes, brand new shoes that he never wore. He had a deep freeze outside in an outside shed that was filled to the brim with food and that he would never eat. And I think that comes from the fact that when he was growing up, and he told me when he was 14, that he was working down the pits and his knee was completely wrecked from it, because he'd be on one knee with a pickaxe, hacking away at the coal, and they were paid 5 shillings for a ton of coal. So one of those great big coal buckets, that's what they were paid 5 shillings for. And that he would never see the sunshine. And they came from an era of long drops, of, no heating, of struggle and strife. And so I do think that the baby boomer generation then grew up in the aftermath of the war and knew what it was like for their parents to struggle. And so, when they could, they bought the washing machines and the freezers and all the mod cons that we have today. But they remember a time when they were growing up that they didn't have those things. There was a thing that I saw on Facebook. It was a copper bath. I may have mentioned this actually, in front of a fireplace, and everybody was reminiscing about, oh, it was so nice to sit in a bath in front of the fireplace. I'm like, what? I like to lay in my bath with bubbles, and it used to be a glass of wine, now it's a glass of water, and read a magazine. I don't want to be sat in front of the entire family having a bath, third along, because it would be me. It would be my dad, my mum, and then me, and then my sister. That would have been the whole thing. And I don't want to get in sweaty bollocks water. Bollock tea. Mad Men TV series was quite shocking to see how women were treated in the 60s. Recommended to watch if you haven't. I have not watched it. It may well be because some of those things I find very triggering. So I may watch a bit of an episode and perhaps turn it off. Stephen, my grandparents taught me to recycle. Yeah. The vast majority of the furniture I own is secondhand, was donated to me. This table, it's one of those open leaf tables, was donated to me from my aunt. And then I've got a secondhand desk here, computer desk, and a fold-up table there. And these shelves, I got them when I had the shop, so that I could put them in the shop. They were IKEA. So I wouldn't have bought them, But because I was quite happy to have bricks and 2x4s, you know, on the bricks as bookshelves. In fact, my records used to go in crates, old milk crates. Yeah. Reform backs push for patriotic fracking across Britain to help bring down family energy bills as party vows to ditch Labour's net zero madness. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not madness. It's not madness. We need net zero. We need net zero. Okay, I know I'm missing loads of comments here, and I would love to sit and read them all. I really, really would. Rosemary says I get more left wing the older I get, but I'm more politically aware. Exactly, Rosemary's. I am too. I remember my other granddad used to listen to, because this is before it was televised, used to listen to Prime Minister's Questions every Wednesday. And I used to be with my gran, you know, and we'd be sat there at the kitchen table doing something, probably getting food ready for dinner. And he'd be washing in the sink because, you know, it was something he was used to. They'd had a bathroom put in, but he'd wash at the sink and everything with a mirror. And I used to think they were all sheep going bah, 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 instead of here, 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 you know. So he was very politically aware, but he didn't speak about it. But I know he was a Labour man. But I'm not, you know, your vote is your vote. It's your choice. However, I'm Green now. I've swapped to the Green Party. So I will say to you, have a look at Green policies, have a look at the Green candidates in your area and seriously think about that. But vote tactically to keep reform out. I would rather have a Tory in my local council or a Tory as my local MP than a Reform member. So Larry, as a kid, I thought one of my mates was posh because they had a black and white telly and really posh because they had an indoor toilet. Yeah. We didn't get a telephone indoors till I was about 8. No, must have been 10. Must have been 10 because it was a couple of years before we left England to go to South Africa. So we didn't have a telephone in the house. And it was one that was attached on the wall, you know, the stand there and talk on the wall. Okay, right. Let's come to this article. Oh my God. Sorry, guys, we're going over time as usual. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the Bin podcast. Love you guys, but I do want to get through this. So this was released today at 11 minutes past 3. As I say, I haven't had a chance to read through it all yet. Reforms, Danny Kruger criticises UK's totally unregulated sexual economy. Now that makes it sound like he's talking about women of the night, doesn't it? Or OF girls. But he says Reform UK will pursue policies to boost birth rate. This article is by Jessica Elgott, Deputy Political Editor. No. Oh, my scrolly roundy thing on the mouse wasn't working. The UK is suffering from having a totally unregulated sexual economy, the Reform MP Danny Kruger has said, and he indicated he expected the party to have limited but important role in resetting sexual culture. Unregulated sexual economy. We still, when we as women go for job interviews, are overlooked by a man. If there's a man and you might have the same or even slightly higher experience degrees, they will choose the man. They will choose the man because the man's not going to have babies. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And there's a whole host of stuff wrong with that I will be covering in my misogynistic Monday shows. So if you want to find out more about those hidden gender inequalities, then you are welcome to join me on the Monday shows. Just made it on the bus now, so it's hold on for me. Okay, good luck, Mel, good luck. Kruger said Reform UK had a pro-natalist ambition and would seek policies to encourage people to have more children, including exploring changes to the tax system to make payments based on households rather than individuals. And I did say this last week when I was talking about the video that we uncovered from 2024. I have posted a link to it in my watch lists under misogyny and feminism. I think I've posted it in the two because they're linked, but you know, there's certain stuff that's in one that's not in another. So if you want to read that, watch that, go for it. It is also linked in last week's Misogyny Mondays and Tuesdays shows, so you can go and watch that there, because it's about a sort of 20-minute long video. So this is another thing that from this little paragraph. They want to put back the 2-child benefit cap, but they want people to have more children. And then they say they want to make the tax system changes to make payments based on households rather than individuals. So basically, if you're a woman and you have children, you're going to get taxed less. Will they tax men more? Probably not. And what about those men that have more than one child with more than one woman? Will they be, you know, will they be held to pay child support? Because at the moment they're supposed to, but they don't. Not every man, not every father, I will admit that. In an interview with the House magazine, the MP who recently defected from the Tories said he would personally support reversing changes that allowed no-fault divorce. This means that women who are domestically abused would need to have filmed the abuse. They would need to have a record of it, because it's the man's word against the woman's word. It's my alarm for 6 o'clock. Sorry, guys, we're running over. Yeah, it's infuriating to me. It is infuriating to me. This kind of policy, reversing a no-fault divorce, is going to make women less interested in getting married. Will that go for no-fault divorce for men as well? Probably not. Asked what role a political party could have in undoing the sexual revolution, Kruger said, a limited but important one. Limited and specific ways. That's a phrase that the right like to use, isn't it? He said policy would be critically important to the way families form, and he suggested changes could come via the tax system to mean that partners compile a household tax return rather than individually. Again, women who want to live alone. Men who want to live alone, will they be taxed the same way? I doubt it. I doubt it. I do believe that this will fall on women. And he said there, undoing the sexual revolution. Everything that women have fought for, they want to tear down. This is Nazism. It is fascism. It is control of women. It is the Handmaid's Tale. Marriage traditionally was the means by which sexual relationships between men and women were regulated, and I think we are suffering from having a totally unregulated sexual economy, he said. So he probably is talking about ladies of the night and OF girls. You know, men and women not having intercourse before marriage, but men still want to watch porn. They still want to have access to that. a lot of alpha males in the manosphere will say things like, what is her body count? If she's got a high body count, don't be with her because, she doesn't love you. And my God, the levels of intelligence when it comes to anatomy and biology are just amazing. They will say things like, a woman's foo-foo gets used to the size of a man's hoo-ha. So when that hoo-ha is big, the woman's foo-foo won't accept a smaller one. I think mine's got bloody cobwebs. So I would love an explanation of what he actually means by saying unregulated sexual economy. I'm not interested in your love life or anything about your personal life. That is your business, bollocks. But I am interested in the framework in which you make your decisions. And I'd like the framework to be more pro-social. If you want, most people do want to settle down with one person and to have children. We should make that easier. Now, I do actually agree with that a lot of people, probably the majority, want to settle down with children, but it's too expensive. So rather than taxing individuals who are single, keep that 2-child benefit cap lifted and improve the quality of life for everybody else so that it will bring about that level of trust that women would like to have in men. Kruger said there were no plans to repeal the 2022 introduction of no-fault divorces. Previously, couples needed to cite adultery, unreasonable behavior, or separation. I think it was how many years was it for that separation thing? Was it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5? I can't remember. He said the change basically means that your vows don't matter. But he added, I don't know whether we'd be able to reverse it. I don't think that would be party policy to change that. Not everybody gets married in church. Not everybody marries under till death do us part. And definitely not in the pagan community. I married for as long as the love shall last. Some people marry for a year and a day and then reassess after that year and a day if they still want to be together. But this is Handmaid's Tale level of stuff. It is all to do with migration. It's all to do with immigration. And remember Braveheart, where he said, Longshanks said, if we can't force them out, we'll breed them out. That's what they want to do. He read that. Kruger said he was worried about the declining birth rate and that the party wanted to encourage more women to have children. Yes, we have a pro-natalist ambition. We want people to have more children, and we think the government should get behind that wish. And yet they want to put back the 2-child benefit cap. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It is so hypocritical. Kruger denied that Reform UK was a divisive party, and he suggested there could be widespread anger if the party did not win the next election. Fear-mongering from them. Let them have widespread anger. And we know the kinds of people that it will be that have that widespread anger. It will be the flag shaggers. It will be those, that will be going around beating up women that disagree with them because they want to protect our women and girls, but not those that disagree with them. The total opposite is the case. The only chance of unity for our country is reform. Oh, if we don't win, or if we win, then make a mess of it. I do fear for our country, he said. Well, I fear for our country if they do win. I fear for women if they do win. And I fear for progressive men if they do win. The reform slogan is family, community, country. We're talking about the associations that give us meaning and identity and security and a sense of belonging. I think that's where the country is now going, away from a doctrine of total liberal individualism. No, women want more individualism. Women want more because we are, more and more women are waking up to what they see. My niece, she's young, she's in her early 20s. She's never had a boyfriend. And she's beautiful. She is absolutely gorgeous. But she's like, no, I'm not putting up with that. She wants to go traveling anyway. She wants to go all over the world. She came back from New York just after New Year, and she was in Australia a couple of years ago, and she wants to go all over Asia. And so, excellent. I say go for it, because I traveled. So, you know, when I was in South Africa, it was traveling to Europe. That was the place that you went, you know, because Europe was the cool place. And it still is. Unfortunately, we can't go there, you know, anymore. We have to get visas. There used to be a waiting period of 2 years if both parties consented to the divorce, 5 years if either party didn't consent to the divorce. Thank you, Chris. You're so knowledgeable about all of this stuff. It really, really, you must be sat there surrounded by computers. Prima nonce for the plebs. Yeah. Prima nocte. That's what it was. They came for trans, now everything else. Absolutely, absolutely, Elle. And, you know, I stand with my trans sisters and trans brothers, because I know that they will go for them first, and then us. And then, you know, I mean, they were even talking about religion as well. I did actually set up a whole thing of the speech that Yusuf gave the other day about them not wanting to, you know, convert churches, and that churches should be held in high regard and so on. Is Sia Yusuf Christian? You've got a dual monitor set up, Chris. I need that. I do need that. I need a proper screen, though, for this computer, and possibly some more RAM. You deleted a message. Don't worry, blah, blah. We shall smack your hand. Naughty, naughty, blah, blah. Yeah, wouldn't be surprising if they banned the pill and condoms and the coil and so on. And that's another thing. I've found two lovely feminists online that I've actually saved into my feminist and misogyny watch lists as well. So if any of you want to go and watch them, you can. I will be watching more. And it falls to the woman. Most of the time, I would say 98% of the time, to make sure that she doesn't fall pregnant. Meanwhile, it's the man's product that causes that pregnancy. But as women, we know that men are probably not going to take that responsibility. You know, there's the old rhythm method, but that doesn't work. I mean, it works if that person who is supplying the liquid does pull out, but if they don't, the woman's got to sort it. The woman has to go and get the morning after pill. The woman has to take that morning after pill. The woman has to then experience cramps and, you know, all of that stuff. The whole cycle is messed up, even with taking the pill. I strongly believe, and I don't know, because I don't know, I'd need to look into it as well and look at some papers written on it, but I took the pill for many, 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 many years, and I really do think that that has an effect on women later on in life when they are trying to fall pregnant. And yet we take it because it's needed. Blah says, sorry, Pete, if we go back to the true religion of the UK, we would be pagan. Sarah, exactly. I am a witch, hence the name of the channel. You know, I am a witch, I'm pagan. I completely 100% agree with you there. But what did Christianity do to pagans? They unalived so many of us, the burning times, and most of them were women. And that is the level of hatred that so many men have for women that don't agree with them. And they will use the fist against women. I've seen it. I've experienced it. My niece is a med student and has just gone to Ghana. She does have a lovely boyfriend, though. The get off me method works. Yeah, get off me. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're all doing friend requests now. That's excellent. Don't they call Britain God's country? They do, Jacob. David Jacobs. Sorry, Jacobine. Originally, it was called Avalon or Albion, meaning the Apple Isle. The Britain, the name Britain stems from the Brigantes tribe up in North Yorkshire and the north of England, Northumberland, that area. The Brigantes were ruled by Brigantia. She was a goddess. She was a warrior goddess. And the old figure on the back of 50p pieces, you know, she was sat there with a shield on her arm and a lance in her hand, and she was, or a spear in her hand, and she was sat there. She was modeled on Brigantia. And that's where the term Britain comes from. England, we need pagan on here for this, but I think England comes from Angleland, which was the Angles, when the Angles and the Jutes were here, because York was Jutland, Jorvik, wasn't it? So yeah, this country does not have an actual original religion apart from paganism, and most of it would be, you know, Celtic paganism, because Scottish, Welsh, Irish, and then we still do have goddesses. We have Sulis, for example. She is the goddess of water, and her place of worship is in Bath. As I said, Brigantia up in the north of England. We have the Mercian tribe, where Boudica was in the Midlands and out towards Norfolk and Suffolk. So there are these areas that do have these goddesses and gods, but we're not taught about that in school. Most of us know about Boudica. Most of us know about, you know, the Celtic gods and goddesses. Mind you, maybe we don't. I'm not sure. Most of us know about Brigid or Bridget, Saint Bridget, if you want to call her that. But the level of knowledge about the Celtic gods and goddesses is very small due to the fact that the Celts didn't write. They didn't have a language. There is the Celtic Ogham, which was used by the Druids. But general Celtic people, it was all word of mouth. It was all storytelling. The Sceptred Isle, yes, because it land of the Angles. Yes, that's it, derived from Old English England. Yeah. Thank you, Chrissy. Germanic tribe that settled in Great Britain during the 5th and 6th century. So I thought so. I thought it was that, the Angles from the Germanic areas. Christian festivals are based on pagan ones. Absolutely, all of them are. I was actually going to put a poll up earlier on about what you would like me to discuss tomorrow evening in the Witchy Wednesday show, because I will be talking about witchcraft. So join me for that. That'll be at 6 p.m, probably 2 hours, because it's a big topic and I do waffle on for quite a while. So yeah, I will be discussing paganism during the Wednesday show, Witchy Wednesday. I think it works well. And what I'm hoping to do is when the weather gets warmer and I've got better technology, is to record outside and do a ritual outside around my little fire and with the full moon and so on. So you get to see what it's like and know that, I'm not unaliving creatures or children or anything like that, that it is actually all about nature and harmony and joy and peace and love. That's what paganism is. And protection around ourselves. Deformed get in will be the septic isle. Absolutely, Sir Larry, absolutely. The water companies are already ahead in turning the UK into septic isles. Yep, definitely. I really hope not, but they're being platformed by the MSN. They are. And that's why I say we need to make sure that we are getting our words out there. So the best way to do that, guys, is to share, channels like mine, like Regan Elites, like, all the other channels that discuss these things. Max Graham, that really delve into the darkness that Deform will bring if they get into power. We do need to really look at that. It is very, very important that we get these words out there. And believe me, if we get trolls on here, and I know you guys like to shield me from them, but I don't mind talking to them. I really don't. I have got very thick skin. I argue with them online all the time, and I have responses already lined up for them. And yeah, so, you know, but the only thing we don't want it to do is we don't want it to damage the chat, because the chat is there for the safety of everybody. So as I normally say, you know, if you're going to go into the chat, you have to subscribe to the channel first of all, and then you have to wait a minute before you can chat, but keep the conversation polite. I mean, I know a lot of us in here know each other quite well, and we joke and we have fun, and that's perfectly fine. Northumberland or Yorkshire, as Chris pointed out. Yeah, it's that whole area from, it is Yorkshire. Where I go to celebrate Beltane and Mabon is Thornborough Henge, which is a henge. It's close to Masham, or Massam as they call it. It's sort of like, you take the Lightwater Valley turn off. So you don't take the Thirsk turn off if you're going up the A1 from here. You don't take the Thirsk turn off, because that goes straight over the road. You take the next one at the roundabout. They built that road that runs alongside the A1 now. So it goes to the next roundabout, and then you turn left down there, and then you'll see a sign and you turn left towards Thornborough. It's a small village. It's near West Tanfield. So it's in between West Tanfield and Thornborough. And it's along the River Ure, which is like, to me, when I cross the River Ure the first time, it's like, I'm home. I'm home. My family was from Thirsk. They had a farm there. On my mum's side, they had a farm up there. It's gone now. So to me, when I go to Thornborough Henge, it is home. I feel so connected to that land. There are no stones there anymore, but it is an English heritage site, so you can go and visit if you live in the area. And it's worth going to see. It really is. It's a huge complex. It's absolutely massive. You can go, it's 3 henges. So you've got the southern henge, the main henge, which is the biggest, and the northern henge, which is wooded. There's a path through the northern henge, but you have to walk up this road. It's quite far. It's like about a mile. So it's probably a 2-mile long walk that you will have to do. But it's absolutely beautiful. And you can take your dogs. Just make sure you pick up the poop. It's got signboards and everything telling you what everything is. And the actual layout of the henge itself is set out as per Orion's belt. And it's believed to be the oldest henge in the United Kingdom. Even older than Stonehenge. They have been doing testing and all sorts. So there's a lot going on there. It's really worth going. It's really, really quiet. Lovely place to have a picnic. It does get windy and cold because it's very open. So, you know, if you go, make sure you're wearing a coat or woolly jumpers and stuff. Sorry, I'm just having a look here. All religions have light festivals midwinter. They do. They do. Hence, you know, Xmas. Trolls have their place underneath their bridges. They do. Sometimes I enjoy taking the piss out of trolls when I can be bothered. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I do, you know, argue with quite a lot of misogynistic men. And some of them, actually, when I point out that what they're saying is misogynistic, though, no, I'm like, yeah, it is. This is da 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 da. And they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't realize. So it is important that we go ahead and educate people, you know, especially the older generation, not all the older generation, but we need to remind women what they fought for, and that if deform get in, we will lose those rights. And to take it away from the younger women is selfish, is really, really selfish, because we're going on to fight for even more rights. We still have to think about our sisters in Africa, those that suffer from FGM, those that suffer from forced marriages. I think it's either Iran or Iraq, I can't remember now, it's one of them. They want to lower the age for marriage for girls to 9. 9 years old. And these are old men. 40-year-old men want to be with 18-year-old girls because they can coerce them. They can mold them and make them into, whatever they want to make them into. And that's when they start with the abuse. And I know this because I was there. And yeah, you just have to look at the manosphere to see this stuff, which I will be doing videos on when I get round to recording them, possibly tomorrow. Okay, guys, Pete, I agree with you, not all boomers. And you know that I completely agree with you. And I need to get a sign, and I will get a sign. But yeah, that's why I say not all older people, because it's not just the boomer generation, it is the silent generation as well. And it's ingrained into so many of their beliefs. I mean, when I look at bikers and when I look at punks and, from that era, I know that they are far more open-minded to these things than the women who I see in that age bracket who, look that age. I mean, I'm 56, and you look at people at 56, photographs of like 20 years ago, they didn't look like me. They didn't look like me at all. You are welcome, Chris. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for all of the comments. I'm sorry I don't get to read them all out. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for donations, because I know that Regan Elite did drop me something. So I really want to say, thank you, Regan Elite, for that. That's really helpful, because I have just paid a bill today that sort of made me cough a bit. So I will be back tomorrow night, 6 p.m. for Witchy Wednesday. And, let me know what you think of the show. Send me messages if you want to. You are always welcome to thank you, Stephen. Oh, you've no idea how much I need that coffee at the moment. You really don't. Really. Thank you. Okay. So tomorrow evening, thank you everybody for being here. Don't forget the Bin podcast is live at the moment. I did have a look at how to send you all over there, but I cannot remember how to do it. Me and computers. And Chris C, don't worry. Guys, only support me monetarily if you can. Do not short yourself. If I could support other channels monetarily, I would. But it's, we are all in difficult times right now. So I do not sit here and think, I don't think that at all. If I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy doing this. And I do. Let's see. What has Larry the Cat done? Graham Hughes blames boomers for everything he failed to achieve. I have had several rows with him, but he just puts me on silent and gobs off. Okay. Yeah. Gonna leave that there. I don't blame all boomers at all. I don't. I blame probably, it is society in general. It is society in general. And it's the way that we have been taught by generations previous to us. And it's how we have educated ourselves moving forwards in order to change those thoughts and those patterns that were ingrained into us. Right, guys, I am off now because I need my din-dins. So, Chrissy, I know. Do not worry, my love. Do not worry. You are my producer. You put so much effort into this show. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. And it really helps me. Really, really helps me. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your support. And the poll results. Well, it's 100% said yes. 100% of people watching said, yeah, they are misogynistic. So the Deformed Party is misogynistic, and 18 people voted. So that's it. 100% said, yeah, they're misogynistic. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Relax, put your feet up, have a cuppa, go to bed early. Make sure you have sweet dreams. Blessed be. Mwah. Bye, guys. Stay blessed.